Hey, 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 everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Grossman Files. Hey, we got a great one here today. Yes, on this Sunday morning, December 7th. I hope all y'all in Son of Sam land are doing well out there. We got Maria del Carmen, hey. We got Eraser Fred, and we got Milsurp in the chat as we're down here in the belly of the beast. As you can see the car house from the back. As you can see, 18 and 22 Wicker Street. Hopefully the resolution is good enough on this cheap, shitty 360 DP or whatever the hell it is. And you can see the back of Berkey's building. And yes, D-Dog, if you're watching, my man, I ain't mad at you, but you got a lot to learn on Son of Sam. Yes, Berkowitz's building was, in fact, close enough in distance to the household of Sam and Francis Carr, a mother of John Carr, a father of Michael Carr, and father of Wheat Carr. To be able to hear the dog Harvey barking, the blood monster barking, especially in most of the year when there's no leaves on the trees. But sound travels up this hill like crazy. The two houses are close enough to each other. So, of course, why am I addressing D-Dog? Well, because he's the protagonist of today's video. He's what inspired it on a comment that he made, a series of comments that he made on Cracklin Rosie's video about Michael Carr, which I have linked in the post section. You could go check it out. And which inspired me to come out here today to talk about how David Berkowitz had the shittiest luck ever. And just to get that out of the way, as we look at here, graffiti of the Blue Lion. This means something, according to the lunatic Chris Claw. The fact she wrote a whole blog about how this graffiti here meant something conspiratorial, because it was about a blue lion, and a lion is this and that and that and this, and the fact that it's behind Berkowitz's house somehow meant something. So yeah, so one of a myriad of D-Dog's comments, and we'll get into it a little deeper as we start walking. Yeah, let's just start walking on the aqueduct as we look here at Wicker Street. One of the comments that he made in a series of comments about the Carr family, where all of a sudden this guy was an expert on the history of the Carr family, on their personal details, on the personal habits of the members of the family. Somehow he's the expert. He wrote about how, oh, what a coincidence that David Berkowitz Wheat Carr just happened to be the one that answered the phone at the police department. The person who gave him in was also a conspirator. No, Berkowitz had the shittiest luck ever, bro. He just happened to pick a family to harass whose daughter worked for the freaking police department. As we look at the back of the car house, and as we walk to see, a German Shepherd is walking down the path. It means something. So here's where Berkowitz stood on this promontory right here to shoot Harvey. So let's see. Hit a like, people. It's free. So everybody, we got 30 people watching, which is awesome. I'm going to show you the German Shepherd because it means something. Oops. How are you? Beautiful dog. Hey, Pooch. Is he friendly, or maybe I should... Really? Hey, how are you?
Okay, no jumping.
It's okay. I mean, unless it's a rule. Hey, come here.
Kind of a small rule.
Oh, okay. No jumping.
Girl, no jumping.
What's her name?
Stella.
Stella. No jumping, Stella. Hi, girl. Aren't you pretty?
Thank you.
Such a beautiful dog.
Oh,
Anyway, well,
good sit.
thank you. Thank you very much. Uh-oh. I'm in the cult. I hung out with a German Shepherd on the aqueduct. It means something. So yeah, so all these experts on the Carr family come up with the craziest shit. And so I challenged this guy, D-Dog, and we'll just get into it in a minute. And I didn't challenge him in a negative way. I just asked him to please prove his points using, as I always say, using firsthand documented evidence, like not spewing Maury Terry's words back to me. And that's what all these people do. They spew Maury's words back to you, and it's just like, that's proof. That's proof enough for them. So it really goes to show that Maury Terry's last remaining fans are really just the absolute bottom of the barrel dregs. And so it makes me like crazy when people still try to debate with them about this stuff. I mean, I guess yeah, you can say that I'm doing that because I'm asking this guy to prove his point, but I'm not debating the issue that Berkowitz has acted alone and that Maury Terry's a liar. I'm asking for proof. I'm taking it to another level. Let's see what people say. Dave Moss. That's a cultist walking German Shepherd gonna sacrifice it. Jay Catalano, there's a trio doing shows that Manny covered over 2 years ago. They even mimic the commentary. Like they say, best form of flattery. Yeah, of course. Catalano's talking about the absolute loser trio of Rena, Neo, and Eric Galati, who are now all best friends. Even though Neo had the worst things to say about Eric Galati behind his back, and Eric Galati had the terrible things to say about Neo behind his back. And all these people are just treacherous. I mean, I talk about people, but I'm talking about them publicly. And when I was friends with Neo, I never said a negative word about him behind his back because I didn't feel that way. I don't work with people that I hate. It makes no sense to me. But I understand the motivation with Rena, Neo, and Eric because they're just anti-Manny. And so the enemy of the enemy is my friend type of thing. And it's really rather actually base, low, and it's pathetic. But we're not here to talk about those guys. That sad spectacle. We're here to talk about how this comment by D-Dog really got me thinking about how everyone's an expert on the Carr family, and their expertise comes from Maury Terry. So David Berkowitz had the shittiest luck ever. This guy chooses to harass a family whose daughter worked for the police department. And then everybody's, all the Maury Terry's fans use that as somehow suspicious when Wheat Carr, who works for the police department as a dispatcher, gets the call from New York City Police Department. How is that coincidental? That's her job, D-Dog. She worked for the police department. It's not my fault that David Berkowitz had the shittiest luck ever to harass a family whose daughter worked for the police department. It's ridiculous on its face. Dave Moss says, the We Hate Manny Club acting like bitter ex-girlfriends. Oh, yeah. The sad thing is I called into Neo's show and Rena put me on the air. And even she was like, yo, this would be, her quote was, this would be fire if you guys talked. Because Rena actually likes me. That's the sad part about it. I can tell the vibe. But because she got so excited when I called in. And giddy and happy about it. And Neo had a chance to talk to me, and instead all he did was say, you thief, you stole my stuff. I don't even know what that means. I stole your stuff? Dude, I did the shows 3 years ago that you're doing now. How did I steal your stuff? And if you want to say, oh, well, you used my material. That wasn't your material. It's none of our materials. It's the materials that existed in the real world. And that you just happen to find some things that then I ended up analyzing. You didn't help me analyze anything. You were far gone by that point. I did my work with Catalano and Book Club and with Eric Galati in those years. And believe me, I had plenty of my own material that I have and that I actually still have, bro. Stuff that you could never even dream of accessing that I have in my possession. I still got work to do on. So anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to take a few points of this D-Dog crap because I asked him to prove his points and all he did was spew back Maury Terry to me. It's like the last 5 years didn't even happen with these people. It's unbelievable. It's like the Billy the Artist revelations never happened. I actually thought that in my naivete, as we look here at Chenard Place, I used to call it Shonard. Oh no, I used to call it Chenard. And Yonkersonians got so angry at me. It's Shonard. I actually thought in my naivete that when Billy the Artist came out, that was it. It was gonna convince even the most diehard Maury Terry fans. And then Dave Moth, you'll know what happened after that. They started talking about how Marvel Comics was a part of the process. I mean, they'll just do anything. Jay Catalano, Lal, the guy who found out about the case watching Josh Seaman's series. We've been at this nonsense for 20 years. Hilarious. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. So I just wanted to deal with a few things of, and I've talked about this before, but today we're talking about how David Berkowitz had the shittiest luck. And people are calling his shitty luck somehow conspiratorial. No, he just happened to start harassing the family whose daughter worked for the police department, you idiots. That's called shitty luck. Plain and simple. Nothing more to it than that. As if a shooter in Son of Sam, if Wheat Carr, who D-Dog thinks is a shooter, he says it in the comments. You should go read this stuff. It's beautiful. As if she's going to answer the phone and start talking about her conspirator and say, yeah, come up here and arrest the guy. It'll lead directly to me, but arrest the guy. It's him. It's David Berkowitz. I mean, think about what you're telling yourselves. So we have a few things. So, and I highly suggest you go to Cracklin Rosie. Let's give her some love. Rosie hates my guts, but she's very passive aggressive with the G-Man, and somehow or other I'm negative in her eyes, and she's never negative, so that makes her better, I guess, than me. Even though none of this would be happening if I never picked up the camera. I mean, I hate to say it. I hate to sound like Neo. But if I never picked up that camera in March of 2021, even John Catalano would still be talking about Maury Terry being truthful. And I'm not dissing my boy John. I love the guy. But what I'm saying is none of the new stuff would have ever come out if we hadn't started this stupid video series of ours 5 years ago, almost. So, Ricardo Suave, man, you should forget about the morons and just keep seeking the truth. They couldn't shine your shoes. You brought an uncredited victim. Justice after 50 years, truly incredible. Thank you, Ricardo Suave. I appreciate that. The ones who've been going around know exactly about your efforts and work on this case. Maria del Carmen, thank you. Yeah, Ricardo, listen, man, I hear you. One of the things I love about these lives is that I can respond to comments in real time. No, I hear you, man. And listen, my mother says the same thing. My mother's pushing 90 years old. And she still, somehow or other, gets notifications when I make a post on my YouTube page. And then I have to hear it from my mother. Manny, you're ruining your legacy by talking about these people. Forget about them. But, and so Ricardo, that's kind of like the what you're trying to say. And I understand the argument there. But if I may say something in my defense, first of all, I don't have a real legacy, because I'll be the first to admit nobody cares about this subject except for us. 40 people watching right now. We're the only people who care. So what legacy do I have? The Netflix doc came out and it went just like I had told all y'all it was going to happen. And quite frankly, this hasn't made me famous or increased anything in my professional life or personal life one iota. So my attitude is, Ricardo, that I just want to have fun with it. And part of the fun that I get out of this, and maybe this turns off some people, I'm not saying you, Ricardo, you're my man over here. I don't know who you are, but you're my man. Maybe it turns people off when I talk about others, but it entertains me, and I take a very Neil Peartian approach to this, that I'm doing this for me mainly. And if people like it, great. If people don't like it, that's just fine too. So as we walk here on the Aqueduct Trail, as if they were going to carry all this way dead bodies of German Shepherds from Untermeyer Park, dead animal carcasses carried by John Carr, the occultist. And that leads me into the rest of D-Dog's comments in a second. As I look at the comment section, Heather Starr said hi. Heather Starr, what's up? Have a Merry Christmas. Minnie Fuck says, bro, you streaming through a Nokia? Well, don't watch. And only 12 likes. What am I losing here? It's okay. Dave Moth, it's so funny to talk about them, and the inability they have to admit they're wrong is fascinating. Yeah, in a way, it's really a study in sociology. The sociology of conspiracy theory, about how even in the face of irrefutable evidence, people then make up new stuff to justify their keeping their table leg up. What's up, Chris Banks? What's up, Nikozmas, who says you cleared people's names like Wheat Car? True. Rabad Asai, he says, watching this from Yonkers. What's going on? Denise says, this is where we will see Bigfoot with the bad quality. Ricardo Suave answers, I find it funny when you talk about the Morons. I just think they're not worth your time. They believe in Conan characters. Maria del Carmen, it looks blurry when you point to the scenery. Yeah, I get it. All right, so I'll turn back to the G-Man. My predominantly male audience loves to see my face. They've been commenting on my nose hair. So D-Dog, in addition to finding it coincidental and conspiratorial that David Berkowitz had the shittiest luck by picking a family to harass who worked for the Yonkers Police Department, he also mentioned a few other things. Let's talk about it. And I'm paraphrasing here. I don't have the comment in front of me, but he says, Berkey knew accurate stories, in quote, about the Carr's home life, beatings they received from Sam Carr. How do you know this? All of a sudden, everybody's an expert on the domestic life of the Carrs. Let me just get past this person here. How are you? Guy's metal detecting, looking for bullets of the 22 disciples of hell, no doubt. So now everybody's an expert. And listen, I used to say this stuff too, but at least I can admit that I said it with absolutely zero evidence to back it up. I was a moron. I was using Maury Terry's book as the basis of my work. How do you know that Sam Carr beat his children? How do you know this? D-Dog, please tell me who you spoke to who was an eyewitness to Wheat Carr, John Carr, and Michael Bell Barron Carr, Dane Charnkowski himself. Who do you know that was an eyewitness to their beatings by Sam? I'd like to know this. Please tell me. All of a sudden, everyone's an expert in the domestic life of the Carr family. And let me tell you something, homies. You get your shit from Maury Terry, that's immediately disqualifying. It's called the circle jerk. It's like the last 5 years never happened. It's literally like the last 5 years never happened. We're living in a freaking twilight zone where the hundreds of videos that I've done don't exist as corporeal objects in the real world as presently constituted. That all the work we've done, me and Catalano and Book Club, and I'm even going to throw me and Galati in there, and me and Neo in there, because we all worked together at some point, that we all did, and Book Club, and every other person who contributed, Lorenzo, Klein, it's like it never existed. It's like you're living in 1987 still. I hope you have an IROC Z and teased hair and you're still listening to Hysteria by Def Leppard. Pour some sugar on me. Come on, fat me up. Are you hot, sticky, sweet? From your head down to your feet, bro? Yeah, you are. With the spewings of Maury's bullshit. So yeah, man. D-Dog, my man. This one is going out to all y'all who think they're holier than thou. All y'all Maury Terry fans out there, say ho. When I say David, you say Berkowitz. David, David. Oh, when I say David, you say Berkowitz. David, David. As we look here at the Osage oranges, from what's no doubt an Osage orange tree. Maria, this looks a little bit like our breadfruit, our pana that we saw on my farm, right? Obviously, there must be a tree around here where that stuff, it's kind of weird that it would just show up. It's everywhere. It's cultic material. They worship this. Ricardo Suave says, the Carrs are only associated with Burke because hated their dog. That's about it, right? And D-Dog, on commenting on Rosie's video, says that Berkowitz could never have heard the dog barking. So therefore, he had to know. Jay Catalano says, it drives them insane that he unraveled the whole myth. They have GDS, Grossman derangement syndrome too. Ricardo Suave says, metal detector guy looking for Burke's 32. Jay Catalano, Manny's 20-minute Billy the Artist interview alone proved the ultimate evil was a complete fantasy. Enjoyed the cult theory. Forget about the rest of his amazing work. Thank you very, very much, John. And that's true. Satanic breadfruit. It's everywhere. Mr. Real Estate, after he was done raping children in the park and burying their bodies. I mean, these people have a sick... Think about what they think about. Imagine spending your life thinking about this stuff. How spiritually sick you have to be to, like, constantly be thinking about these things, these sordid and dark subjects like child pornography and raping kids. I mean, what's the fascination with that crap? And then it gets back, of course, to Maury Terry's fascination with this stuff. Yo, what was his deal? You know, back in the day, when we were morons, we were talking about this guy named Scout. in Lake Avenue, a notorious child molester who was doing his stuff as a teenager. And of course, Manny, who didn't do anything, according to Neo. He got me all my contacts. But in those days when we were exploring, people far and wide were getting in touch with me way before Neo came in the picture. And I walked around Lake Avenue with a guy named Bob Rowan, who had actually been molested by Scout. He talked about how Scout kept a jar of his own semen in a jar. He also kept his belly button lint hair in a container. And then if you look in the archives, this guy had multiple victims and he had been arrested. Not Bob Rowan, this guy Scout, whose name was, I forget his real name at this point. It's been so long, and I'm not sitting here thinking about child molesters all day long like Jonathan Mitchell does. And so Scout there was like a list of people he molested. And I don't want to say that I'm convinced of it, but you really got to wonder with Maury Terry and the fact that his entire investigation just happened to be a 1 mile radius around where he lived, whether this was all just some weird, sick fantasy of his to get back at people who molested him. Oh, I'm in trouble now. I said Maury Terry was molested. Not saying that. I'm just wondering why it was that Maury Terry had this really sick and unhealthy fascination with child crimes. It just doesn't make sense to me in any way, shape, or form. Let's see what people are saying. Ricardo Breadfruit had 44 carved into it. Wheel said Maury looked racist as F. No Reds Noirs says stop complaining. Don't watch, my man. Don't watch. No one's gonna tell me what to do. If I want to complain, I'll complain. So D-Dog is now the expert. In addition to it being conspiratorial, that weak car picked up the phone in the place that she actually worked. I don't see what's so conspiratorial about that. But according to D-Dog and the rest of the Maury Terry fans said that's conspiratorial. And he's also the expert on Sam Carr's child beating practices. So what else did he say? He said the Burke knew the nickname of Wheaties. How could Berkowitz know the nickname of John Carr, a guy he never knew? How do you know John Carr's nickname was Wheaties? There's no proof of that exists in the real world as presently constituted, D-Dog. I know that Maury Terry wrote in his book that after he found the phone entry of John Wheat Carr, he made a call and within 5 minutes confirmed that John Carr's nickname was Wheaties. But you notice in that section of The Ultimate Evil, he never names the person who said that to him. He never shows their face, their name, their pictures. He just says that it happened. But you know what else he said happened? Ken, Moloch, and Maria were in Untermeyer Park with David Berkowitz. You know what else he said happened? He said that a Volkswagen Beetle was carrying a conspirator in Son of Sam. In fact, that Volkswagen Beetle comes up in D-Dog's comment. And I'm sorry to be obsessing over this D-Dog character, because it really ain't about him. It's about the whole entire notion of moronism and how in 2025 you could still have your head in such sand that you actually still use these lame, tired, old, and decrepit arguments with me. How are you going to do that to the expert on Sam, who was through with it before you knew what to do with it? when it comes to Sam, you good-looking crib girl with all right looks. But to a pimp like me, you ain't even in the books. What else does he say? So I would like to know how you know, D-Dog, that John Carr's nickname was Wheaties, when there's no record of that exists at all in the real world as presently constituted. Show me. Like I said a million times, if you can prove to me that there was this thing called the 22 Disciples of Hell and that Berkowitz was a part of it, hanging out with Carlton V. Dusek in Untermeyer Park, baying at the moon, hanging out with John Paul Rainieri in 1962, as John Paul, Brother John, says. If you can prove this to me, then please show me, because I can prove to you that the yellow Volkswagen was bullshit. That Maury Terry used the story of one of 100 cars that was at the Brooklyn scene, and he even changed the timeline on it. The yellow VW left 12 to 15 minutes after the shooting. I can prove that. I have the documents to prove it. Please put in the work, my man D-Dog. Jonathan Mithsell just wrote a whole piece about Ace the Hinge Brown, as if we didn't do Ace the Hinge Brown to death 3 years ago. I'm the only pimp on earth who actually ever brought you someone who lived with Ace the Hinge Brown. Some of you might remember that video. You can still find it, actually, on Crowdsource the Truth's Odyssey channel, I think, maybe BitChute channel, where we interview a guy who lived with Ace the Hinge Brown. There's no connection. This guy D-Dog even talks about Jimmy Kahn, the guy who allegedly lived in Berkowitz's building. I did shows on that, proving with documents that it was all fake. As we look here, Maria says, as for me, Maury was as narcissistic as Burke, period. Yeah, true. They were, as Eric Galati says, alter egos of each other, mirror images of each other. Wheel says, parking in the Rhea. Parking in the Rhea. That's hilarious. I did a series about the Rhea family when I was doing Alfred Hunt Howell, and I named it Parking in the Rhea. It had multiple levels of meaning. Catalano said Maury even attempted to tie the head of Nussbaum, Lisa Steinberg, to his fantasy cult. Maria said Maury ended up believing his own web of lies. I'm not so sure about that, Maria. I think he, on some level, maybe even full level, knew that he was lying, and that's why he was giving riddles to Carl Denaro for 30 years to solve. Dave Moss says he thinks Maury's long-rumored second book was meant to cover the Steinberg and his cult links. Catalano, Manson, Steinberg, and Eton Pace. Maury was shameless in his attempt to sensationalize his book. Yeah, absolutely. As we look here at the Weir house, and we see the 44 that I truly believe Berkowitz drew. And you probably can't see it with my shitty camera, but on the top left, there's another 44 in red. That one looks like the writing in the Borelli letter. And this one here looks like the writing on the Breslin letter. And as we turn around and walk back towards Wicker, Chris Banks says Berko may be getting deliveries in the rear now. There's rumors about Berkowitz in jail with gay stuff, but you know, that's not really something that a road that I want to go down, because listen, who really cares, right? I mean, and also if you're in prison, you put makeup on someone, you bend them over. I mean, you can't tell I'm just kidding about that. But, you know, when you're in prison, your options get severely limited as to the sexual gender of the person you can insert your digits into and your PPs into. So, you know, those guys got to do what they got to do. I have no judgment on that. That's one place where Berkey gets a pass with me, his long rumored gay stuff, which actually I think Rosie covered a little bit of that on her channel. She did a video a while back about I believe, I could be wrong about this, but she did a video a while back about some gay stuff associated with Berkey. And you should give Cracklin Rosie a view, like even though she doesn't like me, and she's very passive aggressive about it, just be aggressive with it, Rosie. You know, like that's the way you should be. Don't like pretend to be above it all when I know you're really not. Just be aggressive about it. It's okay. I can take it. But we have actually a lot of appreciation for Cracklin Rosie here, because she was the person who found the John Comparetto tape about the leather jacket in Wendy Savino. I gave her credit right from the start, so it's not like I took credit and I'm just giving her credit now. She was fully credited to that, and I even told NYPD that she found that. Didn't make a difference to them, but made a difference for me and my conscience to not take credit for something that for work that I didn't do. So yeah, I couldn't believe when she found that, because like I said with Savino, like one of the statements that I made, and I even said it in the Netflix documentary and it got edited out, but I said Savino was such a slam dunk that you could hear the pieces of that case fitting together. You could hear them clicking into place. Like, I don't mean literally, but this is just a figure of speech, which is how I like to talk. It was so obvious that it was Berkowitz, from the MO to the place to the timing right after he gets pissed off at the Casaras, which Neos doesn't seem to realize. Doesn't have to be the next day. It could be as much as 2 weeks later, as is evidenced in April 1977, when he's writing letters on the April 10th about the barking dog, and he shoots Valentina on the 17th, as is evidenced by his letter on December 22nd, 1976, about the barking dogs at 18 Wicker, and then 2 days later he shoots Rocket. Berkowitz doesn't have to do things the next day, bro, or the same day. His anger could last as much as two weeks, and the need to take out his anger on an innocent victim. But Neo, in his own way, is like a moron, M-A-U-R-O-N, because he doesn't understand anything that I say either. I watch what he puts out on, and because we agree on the case, essentially him and I are in total 100% agreement on the case. I agree with it, with 99% of the stuff he says. I have no problem with it. I'm glad he's talking about it. I think he emphasizes a little too much of this God stuff, which I think was always a ruse with Berkowitz. But, that's Neo's shtick. That's his only angle that he has different from me, that he didn't copy directly from the G-Man. This God angle, which I don't even really understand. He's angry at God, so he takes out his stuff on people, and I don't know about that, but whatever, dude. That's what gets you through the night. So let's see what people are saying once I get into this little shadowy section that I can actually read the comments. According to Eric, Berkowitz recanted his confession to Caparelli. Lol, Frank, the victim harasser, told him so. That's a really credible guy. Yeah, exactly. Eric, first of all, Eric Galati gets everything wrong. John, I mean, you know that, I know that. Just as someone who has been around him, you have to really be on top of him, because he'll read something and then interpret it back to you 180 degrees from what he just read. And unless you're there to correct him, it just goes on the record as true. And Rena's too stupid, and Neo doesn't care. He's not even listening to Eric. He's just waiting to talk. And most of his stuff is about how much of a thief that I am. He's just literally obsessed with me. But Eric, who knows what actually took place in that conversation with Frankly Degenerate, or Frank DeGennaro, the victim harasser, the guy who actually accosted Wendy Savino in a public place, terrifying her so much that she ended up in the hospital with pneumonia because of the stress of it all. She said he was disheveled, looked like he hadn't showered in days. So, yeah, I was in Puerto Rico when that happened. I got the call that it happened. And then, rightly so, they immediately went to the police, put it on record, who took it extremely seriously because he was speaking for David Berkowitz. I mean, that's sick. How in your right mind, Frankly Degenerate, did you think that that was a good idea? But at least we haven't seen you since, publicly. But yeah, Eric Galati's saying that Berkowitz told him that he lied to Caparelli. Listen, Berkowitz is going to tell whoever he's speaking to what they want to hear. That's his kink. Don't you understand? And he's never, and so all these people agree that Berkowitz is a bullshit artist, but he's telling the truth when he says he didn't shoot Wendy. I mean, that's how you know these people are not honest. And that their motivation mainly is to try to discredit me, and I can't be discredited because everything I do is a fact, Jack. So, what's up, Tommy? Good evening from Sweden. Have a nice day. Yeah. So who knows what actually occurred in that conversation between Frankly Degenerate and Eric Galati? Because Eric, like I said, will take what you say and then report it back, and it's like not what you said at all. There were several times when we were working live that I had to correct him on the air. Eric is a bloviator. He thinks that flowery language and this faux elegance that he has somehow fools people. It doesn't fool me. I remember I got a call from one of Eric's friends. It was a woman who was the caretaker of Hank Chinati, a woman in who lived in his building, a very nice woman, Italian woman, sweet person. And when Eric went ex-girlfriend on me and stopped talking to me, she actually called me and she said to me, "Be very careful of Eric. He's a very sneaky guy. He's a sneaky guy." And I didn't believe it at the time, but then of course he took all of my Maury Terry files that I had given him in confidence and he gave them to all my enemies proudly. He didn't even try to hide it. All because I didn't call him back because I needed a mental break and I had told him so. That's what I mean when I say he went ex-girlfriend on me. So what else did D-Dog say? So we covered the fact that Berkowitz had the shittiest luck of just happening to harass a family that worked for the Yonkers Police Department. But in D-Dog's mind, that somehow is conspiratorial. We talked about how D-Dog said Berkowitz had to be associated with the Cars because he knew John Carr's nickname, which we've never actually established was John Carr's nickname. We've talked about how D-Dog somehow knows the intimate details of the inner workings of the Carr family, saying that Sam Carr beat his children. How do you know that? And then finally, he says, oh no, not finally, there's two more. He says, Wheat Carr admitted that John Carr was in the occult. Well, first of all, she didn't say that. She said, if you listen to the tape actually, and you listen to it in full context, she said, yeah, John was into the occult. Everybody was into drugs at the time. So she was equating the occult with drugs. had nothing to do with devil worship. You can't take one sentence out of context and use it as proof, D-Dog. Your boy Maury Terry did that, and look where it got him. It got him where some dude, some gardener, as people like to call me, as if that's bad. Some gardener from the Bronx totally destroyed his entire ethos. We destroyed Maury Terry. Guy doesn't even exist anymore as a person that anyone real takes seriously. And it was all done by a gardener from the Bronx, along with all of his friends, some of whom are now enemies. So that whole occult thing with John Carr, and then I have to say also, even if John Carr was in the occult, even if he was the top member of a satanic and druidistic coven in North Dakota, even if they were slitting dogs' throats, drinking the blood, cutting ears off of dogs' heads, mounting them. Yep, bicycle rider. Mounting them. Even if he was doing all that, what does that have to do with Sam? How does the next logical leap then that means that he was associated with David Berkowitz? It doesn't make sense. And then, for the pièce de résistance, he said, that oh no, we're not done. He said that, how is it possible that John Carr was the exact spitting image of the Lomino Damasi sketch? He wasn't. And even if he was, it doesn't matter. It actually turns out, as I've shown many times, D-Dog, I watch your stuff, you should watch mine. I've shown you pictures with Berkowitz with that hairstyle on the Lomino Damasi sketch. And then, of course, you speak to the victims who have all said that it was David Berkowitz who shot them. And John Catalano and I did a whole show on Lomino Damasi, showing how Maury selectively cherry-picked evidence, manipulated evidence, didn't include some evidence in his thesis. And then D-Dog comes back and says to me, I know you say that sketches don't matter. Have you seen my updated video on the sketches of Son of Sam? I show you how they're all him and how I've changed my mind on that whole thing about the sketches. Again, I watch your stuff, watch mine. And then he says that his proof, because I asked him for proof of all this stuff, was Detective Murphy's investigation. John, if you're still watching, you'll know what Detective Murphy's investigation amounted to. A total pile of horse shit. Detective Murphy was brain damaged in 1982. He didn't even know how to use a computer. He was not a good investigator. I can tell you stories that I've heard about Detective Murphy. I don't want to give up names of people who told me. But let's just say that Detective Murphy was about on par with Geraldo with his knowledge of Satanism, and he was a heavy satanic panic guy. He was boys with Maury Terry. He was put out to pasture with Maury just to keep him out of the way. Detective Murphy he was a loser. Let's just say it for what it was. He was a Jim Rothstein character. He was the mentally ill homicide detective Hank Chinati character. He was a member of that whole stable of absolute Mike Novotny, fall down drunk. The only two cops, and I hate to say it, because it excludes some people who were part of the investigation, but the only two in NYPD that actually were on the ball were two patrolmen, Chamberlain and Intervallo. That's it. Detective Murphy, are you out of your mind using Detective Murphy's investigation? Have you ever seen it? It's written in like 20-point type. It's illegible. There's misspellings everywhere. Talks about Carlton V. Gojdusek, the spiritually sick Nobel Prize winner, as being part of this. I mean, that's Maury Terry speaking through Detective Murphy. And if Maury Terry was a freaking truth teller, I'd be telling you this, but he isn't. And I've proven it. Watch my stuff, D-Dog. It's all there for you. The last 5 years existed. They happened, whether you like it or not. Let's see what people have to say. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Manny, you're a cool dude. Keep bringing the facts by no middle name. Jay Catalano says, we found the statement from John Carr's ex-wife proving Maury's oh shit scene was an out-and-out lie. Yes. Catalano's correct about that, and we have a whole show on that, D-Dog. Jay Catalano says Damasi and Lomino both told Lifer they saw Berkowitz shoot him. Maury left that out of the book. Yeah. Jay Catalano, Kevin Murphy won't even interview with the cult-friendly Opperman. Wonder why. I never heard that one, John, but I'll take your word for it. Opperman is a total loser. The guy knows nothing about this case. Absolute degenerate. So then D-Dog says, Wheat Car was a spitting image for the VW driver. Oh my God. Are we still talking about the VW? That drove down Bay 17th Street, almost getting into an accident with Alan Masters yelling out, motherfucker. At Alan Masters. We still talking about the yellow VW in 2025? Dog, my man, I ain't mad at you. But study the files. The yellow VW was just one of like 20 cars they were looking at. Yeah, they took it seriously. Just like they took a lot of things seriously after these crimes. You know how serious they took certain things? In Suriani, they went to freaking Pittsburgh and Arizona and California to interview people. That's how serious they took. How come you don't talk about those things as part of your cult theory? You selectively edit this yellow VW, and you do it because Maury told you. You're a stenographer for Maury Terry. You're not a serious researcher, dog. So I hope you watch this. You probably won't. And even if you do, your confirmation bias won't allow you to accept the things that I'm telling you that are factual. I didn't want all this stuff to be. I came out here on this freaking aqueduct path talking about Harvey being the 6,000-year-old demon and Berkowitz hanging out with John Carr and Michael Carr and Wheat Carr. I came out here talking about Sam Carr beating his children. I came out here in 2021 talking about Mr. Real Estate. I came out here talking about all that stuff. But once we got the new information, we updated our operating systems, bro. And it seems like these people haven't. Again, I'm not debating. I'm not trying to convince you or trying to change your mind in a debate like Neo and Rena do with Eric. And with the absolute idiot Ginger Nichols, who writes the most asinine comments. And then they debate her. There's no debate. I'm not debating you. I'm just telling you the reality of the world is presently constituted. And you could either accept it or not. But I'm just like speaking about this now as a sociological phenomenon of conspiratardism. And how people still don't understand that they were lied to. vis-a-vis Sam. Maury even, John Catalano says, Maury even said in the Zeman documentary, oh, Murphy even said in the Zeman documentary that Maury was ridiculous. Maria del Carmen says, where can I watch the Zeman documentary? Well, if you have Netflix, it's on there, which would be the official way to watch it, Maria. But if you go to BitChute, all four parts are there. It's free to watch. I only recently watched it because, again, Zeman's a tourist. He doesn't know about the Son of Sam case. All these people in Neo and Rena's orbit, I only exist as an object to say that I stole everything from them, but they never give me credit for any of the work that we've actually done. I mean, whatever. I mean, it bothers me, I guess, but it's nothing I can do about it, so I don't try to fight them about it. But they never mention my name, and they actually say, if it wasn't for Zeman's work, none of us would be here. Zeman is a tourist. He doesn't know the case in any way, shape, or form. I'm walking by someone, then I'll start again. Zeman gives interviews and he knows better, but he gives interviews still in 2025 where he says, yeah, Berkowitz had help. And it wasn't like a satanic cult. It was just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. What does that mean? What does that mean, Josh? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll? What does that mean? Give me names. Give me dates. Give me associations. Don't say to some moron interviewing you, it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man. What does that mean? Zeman's a tourist. I told him that on the phone in one of our few but very rancorous conversations that we've had over the years. And Zeman has nothing to do with any of this. If anything, his documentary just springboarded the success of my work, because it got people into Son of Sam in that wonderful golden period of March to May 2021, where, as a good producer that I am, realized that shit was about to go down in the Son of Sam world, and I ramped up production of my already going viral series. And to that extent, Zeman helped me a lot. And then, of course, he gave me the Maury Terry files, which it's weird because I never get credit for having given the Son of Sam community the Maury Terry files, the holy grail of it all. My man Neo talks about some letters he bought from a corrupt detective as somehow significant, and they were, but they weren't the Maury Terry files, which are only existing because of me. Oh, Carl Denaro would have gotten them. No, he wouldn't have. Carl doesn't know how to organize any of this. He's not bright enough. He still believes Maury Terry. He still believes a woman shot him. Another person won't acknowledge updated information about the one hand. And then these ass kissers to Carl as if somehow he's an angel for getting shot by David Berkowitz. These ass kissers are like, yes, Carl, this is all for you. Everything is for you. Whatever. It's also dumb. Playground games, cliques, kindergarten level shit. I'm just out here trying to do my thing. So let's give we're almost done with today's. We're back here. Oh shit, lost audio. Oh fuck. When did the audio go out? Shit. Sorry guys. I accidentally pressed the mute button. They have it right next to the flip button on this. It's so stupid. Anyway, I don't know where it went out. But we were talking about how, let me just get rid of that booger. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that. It's called life, bro. People get boogers when they walk around in the winter. All right. So yeah, I was just closing it out. I showed you where Berkowitz cut off about 3 minutes ago. All right, cool. So I was showing you Berkowitz, the promontory there where Berkowitz shot Harvey. And I was mentioning how I want to find the transcript. This is for the sleuths out there, how I could be wrong about this. So again, I don't want to get in trouble by my haters if this turns out to be wrong. But I almost swear that, I'm sure that this was when the audio cut out. I almost swear that in the transcript of the Queens DA, that of the interview, not in the audio tape of the interview with the Carr family, but in the transcript, which includes like tons more than are in the tapes, that Sam Carr said the shooter of Harvey was tanned, and it was April of 1977. I could be wrong. So actually, this would be a good thing for people to fact check. Again, I'm not saying this is fact, but I almost swear that in that transcript, he said that the shooter was tanned, and it was April of 77. And of course, Wendy Savino said her shooter was tanned in April of 76. And I mentioned, and this was probably cut off on the audio, how in April, as a gardener here in New York City, I'm already tanned by April. And Berkowitz was out all the time by his own admission. So getting a tan by April of 77, especially if you're prone to it, like Semitic people are, like he was, you can get a tan by April. It's not the biggest deal. So no sound again. I don't know. Anyway, let me know if I have sound. Professor Behemoth said he had long hair too. No, he didn't. That was a witness on the Aqueduct interviewed, who said the shooter had long blonde hair, which was bullshit. It was just a person giving a fake thing. We don't even know if that person was actually interviewed. Because Berkowitz admitted to shooting the dog. He knew intimate details about shooting the dog. He knew the caliber of the weapon. Berkowitz shot the dog. He wasn't wearing a wig. Okay. So, yeah, Nicole Mas says sound is good. All right, cool. So yeah, so we were just talking about, again, how D-Dog and that comment, this isn't meant to be a personal attack against him. I just would like it if Maury Terry fans would start, or would stop spewing Maury Terry back to me. It's not proof. The last 5 years have happened. Whether you like it or not, Jonathan Mithsell, we exist. Ace Brown had nothing to do with Son of Sam, brah. It just doesn't exist in the real world as presently constituted. You're writing about composite characters that Maury Terry wanted to keep from us. I mean, do you realize how ridiculous this is in the face of, like, when we look through police reports and find out how Maury Terry manipulated this, selectively added that, lied about this, added this fantasy that never existed. So anyway, Catalano says we did a show and proved the Yonkers police saw Berkowitz days before Moskowitz with a suntan. It's documented. Well, that was in the summer, so that's a little bit, John. So again, I'm always a fair guy. That was in the summertime, and Berkowitz was tanned. I think Cecilia Davis said that, but that was summertime. But a lot of people can't wrap their heads around the fact that in April, when there's no leaves on the trees and the sun can shine just like it can in the winter, yeah, it's not at such a high an angle, but that people who spend their times outdoors like me and like Berkowitz are tanned, can be tanned in April. And my whole deal was I want to find out in that transcript. I have the transcript, and I'm going to get to that in a second. And so I'm going to look this up. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to say I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm going to do a show on that, because that'll show again that Wendy Savino was absolutely 100% spot on about David Berkowitz. Not that I need that. I know he shot her. He knows he shot her. He lied at his interrogation through his teeth. But it's always fun finding these things to counteract arguments that are coming up. And of course, Cracklin Rosie with her find about the leather jacket. It doesn't mean that that was the jacket he was wearing that night, but it puts into Berkowitz's realm that he had a leather jacket, just like the shooter of Wendy Savino. So we're back, as John James says. I just got my equipment back from Puerto Rico 2 days ago. Came off the truck. It's now in my storage spot, and I'm in Yonkers now, but I moved to a new state, fairly close to New York, because I have a new job in a new state, fairly close to New York. So I'm no longer living in New York City. And all my equipment now is back. My computer, my live stream equipment, my GoPro. So I'm going to be starting live streams again from the apartment. It's going to be a new apartment, but you'll quickly get used to the new look. And I'm going to start going out with my GoPro again, so I can stop getting the complaints about how shitty these these streams look. But again, I'm not doing these streams for visuals. I'm doing these just to speak to people in a live manner while taking my walk. It's so much fun. We can see that people enjoy it. We're interacting with the live chat. Catalano says, Mom Donnie wants you back in the city. Dave Moss says, looking forward to it. Yeah, and I'm hoping to ramp up live streams. I want to start doing, since everyone else is doing it, I want to start doing roundtable discussions. I'm going to get inspired by the losers and the dummies. Rena, she is so dumb. God, is she stupid. I mean, I should make a video of a point going over someone's head, because that's Arena. Like, she just doesn't understand. And but they're doing like these 3.5 hour roundtable discussions, which I don't think anybody could actually sit and watch. But it's inspiring me. So we're hopefully going to get Catalano on to talk about things. Maybe Book Club will come on if he's game. I know that we talked about that briefly while I was in Puerto Rico. If anybody wants to come on and challenge us, we'll put up links. So we'll do kind of like this style of things, like freeform, but with the real, but online, you know, like with Zoom, not with Zoom, with StreamYard, where we could show you documents. I'm sitting on a pile of documents that no one in the world has ever seen. Really, really good shit. I mean, amazing stuff that like is just so cool. Oh, I never did anything according to Neo. Yeah, okay. I have shit that will blow people's minds. But I'm working it out whether I'm going to show it or not, because it's a little dicey in terms of legality. I don't think anybody really cares, but remember, I have these crazy haters who love contacting authorities about me. Can you believe this idiot Chris Claw actually wrote a letter to Woodlawn Cemetery about my Ace Frehley video? I mean, insanity. So, you know, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. I don't want to get myself in trouble mainly. And so I don't know whether I'm going to be showing stuff, but I'm working it out now. I'm finalizing a date soon with that guest that I keep talking about. We're going to go out in the walk and talk about things, a character from The Ultimate Evil, a member of the cult, who has a story to tell. So that should be another fun thing for the morons to get deflated about. But actually, is it possible, John, for them to be deflated when Billy the Artist comes out and says that he drew the the comic book characters, and then I find the comic book characters, and then the morons say that Marvel Comics was involved in the process. Is it possible for these people to ever come to know the truth? I don't know. Yeah, no middle name. That's freaking crazy. And yeah, go to her blog, Criminal Justice Chris on Medium. Everything's AI written, so it gets a little tedious to read it. But she did a thing about making fun of my Ace Frehley series, about how it was comical, how I couldn't find it, even though I ended up finding it and being the first to show the world Ace Frehley's gravestone, which was then stolen by TMZ and Ultimate Classic Rock, and then all the other channels took my pictures and video and presented it as theirs. It's whatever, I don't care. So yeah, that it's insanity. And I'm giving them exposure. I don't care. Nobody's gonna take them seriously. This is comedy. So yeah, go read Myth Cells, go watch the clown show, Nia and Reno. We'll talk about them. Maybe I'll do reaction videos to some of their ridiculous shit. Like, we can't watch 3 hours though. Maybe I'll cut it down if I care enough, which I probably won't. Yeah, so I'm in this weird transition period now where I'm moving. I move officially tomorrow. I'm a little nervous and apprehensive about it. And living out of New York, even though Mom Donnie is going to totally F up New York City, it's already happening. He's got cop haters on his boards for law enforcement advisors. He's got people who hate education as his top education advisors. But what do you expect? The guy's a billionaire's banker's boy. He's not a real socialist that cares about the people or whatever. He's a tool of the billionaires. He's a tool of Soros. The whole point of these people is to destroy our culture and society and to get us all fighting each other about it. So it's very effective operation what's happening in New York City now. He's got people who hate cars, designing roads and streets, and it's going to be an absolute disaster. So yeah, I'm glad I'm gone. And no, I'm not worried, John James, about TMZ paying me. I mean, what are they going to pay me anyway? But yeah, 2026 is going to be good. And like I said, we're basically out of material. We're still working on Bronx Sniper on some things behind the scenes. And hopefully there'll be some movement on that in 2026. But I'm not going to bring those things to you until we've done a little bit more work. And, so now we're in look back mode. We're in analysis mode. We're in joke making mode. We're in having fun, making fun of other people mode, and destroying my legacy mode, according to my mother. But again, that might be true if I had a legacy to destroy, but I don't think any of this destroys my legacy. People who are my fans are going to accept what I do. They might even find it funny and comical and enjoyable. Why out of everybody talking about everyone, why am I not allowed to do it? What makes me so special that I can't comment on other people doing Son of Sam work? What is so special about me that I can't do that? It's fun to do. And that's basically it. All right. So thank you. No middle name. We got you back in the saddle. Great for new, great things to come. Yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be any real revelations unless Bronx Sniper comes through. I personally think Berkowitz did Bronx Sniper. I think that was Son of Sam before Son of Sam. The parallels are too close to the Son of Sam spree. He knew the neighborhood like the back of his hand. The cruelty of the shooting, especially of Margaret Iglesias, screams of Berkowitz. The cops thought it was a teenager. The neighborhood was filled with snitches and nobody ever got caught. Berkowitz was in that neighborhood that summer. He was an avid walker, walking the 9 blocks from his father's hardware store up to where he was bar mitzvahed at the Grand Concourse Synagogue was just a walk in the park for him. It was less than what I just did to the Aqueduct house. And it just screams David Berkowitz to me. And 17-year-olds could shoot people. It's not unheard of as people could think. So do we have another major thing that's going to happen? I doubt it, but you never know. At the very least, if Berkowitz is guilty of Bronx Sniper, at least he'll know while he's alive that we know it. And it's another thing that he'll obsess over in his stupid blogs that he puts out, where he is just veritably obsessed with the Grossman files and what we've been able to achieve. Totally showing him to be an absolute opportunist, a total absolute lying bastard, a heartless and cruel person, as he always was. And as his name that his father gave him proves true, sneaky. To this day, he's sneaky. Especially if it's true that he's telling Caparelli that he did it alone, and then he's telling Frankly Degenerate, aka Frank DeGennaro, the accoster of a Son of Sam victim, that he worked with other people. I mean, it just shows that nothing he says can be trusted. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging with me this morning. Got to get back to the saddle, take care of business. I just enjoy doing these things, and it's like my meditation, my therapy. I love interacting with the crowd. You know, in today's modern world, this is how most people socialize now, through a camera, talking with people that they never met, mostly never met. I met Maria del Carmen. Of course, I know my man Catalano, and but most of you are just names on a screen to me that have been around for a long time, and I really appreciate every single one of you. So with that being said, I want to say thank you, and we will see you soon on another episode of the Grossman Files. Take care.